How's it going, everyone? Sethphir here, and welcome back to another Tower of Fantasy video. This is going to be my ultimate Day 1 guide series. This is going to be talking about everything that you need to know on Day 1 to get ahead, all of the secret tips and tricks that's going to push you further into the end game and set you up so that you don't make mistakes and waste resources. This is going to be very crucial going into the future. So there's going to be a lot of things in here that you're going to wish you do every day, and it's going to help set you on the right path. So we're going to talk about two things here. We're going to talk about time-sensitive items, and then we are going to talk about long-term goals. So first, we're going to start with the time-sensitive items. So the first thing that you want to do day one when you get into the game is complete the main storyline. It sounds pretty simple. If you press T, you should be able to access the storyline. It'll navigate you directly to there. And if you're a little bit confused, you can pull up this mission info log on the side. You can also access it through the mission screen in the interface, and you'll be able to find the main line of quests, and you can see exactly what you are on. But the goal is to cap out. Once you cap out that mission, the main story mission, it will cut you off at a certain point. It'll say, hey, the next chapter unlocks in 6 hours. Once it does that, then you are good to go, or however many hours it may be, but you are going to be gated in the amount of experience and the amount of story progress that you can make each day. And I think that's done by design for the devs to make sure that everybody can stay on an even playing field, and you don't have some guy playing for 36 hours straight and he's so far massively ahead. So that is going to be your first goal, is to finish up that main story quest line until you cannot go any further. That is indicated by the yellow exclamation mark. So go ahead and do that one. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to hit level 18. There is a level cap that increases slowly as the server progresses, and for the first day, the level cap is going to be level 18. You can hit level 18, and you can also fill up your bar. So let's say I was level 18, I could fill it all the way up to its max XP potential, but I won't be able to go any further than that, and any experience I get would be wasted experience, and that's going to be an important topic that we're going to talk about. The main story quest line should get you to about level 15, and then you're going to have to make your way from there. So let's start talking about experience resources. How are we going to get experience? So there are two types of experience that you can get, and the first type is going to be one-time experience. You're only going to get this once for doing it, and then it's gone forever. It's never returning into the game again. The next will be repeatable or respawning experience, which is going to be something that you can farm often and will be appearing most of the time. So the first route or avenue that we have for experience is the main story quest. It is going to give you the most experience out of anything ever, so make sure you have done that up to its maximum potential. Second, you have side quests, which are okay. They offer a little bit of experience, but they are very scarce in the beginning. So if you see a couple, you can go for them. They do offer very nice rewards in terms of relic items or weapon items. So that's going to be something important to keep in mind. And then we have the sort of adventure type thing here, and let's go ahead and cover all of those. So if we go to the recommended, we're going to have access to something called the daily bounties once you reach about level 15. Daily bounties are very important. You need to do these every day because first off, they're going to give you massive experience. If you can see here, 50k, that's like 2 levels for me right now. So you're going to get a lot of experience for this. So just doing this alone will probably push you towards level 18. On top of that, every time you do a bounty, you will gain rank. So right now I'm a rookie merc, and if I increase this rank, if I increase these stars by completing these things, we'll go ahead and submit this, and eventually I'm going to fill this bar up at the top, and once I do that, I have 10 out of 30 right now, I'm going to rank up my rewards, and if I rank up my rewards, I will get more difficult missions, which will also increase in experience and the amount of rewards that are yielded. So you're going to want to make sure you keep track on this, and this is something that you need to do for sure. Next, after that, we have the runes. The runes are very nice. You can get a decent amount of experience, and it scales up a lot more in the higher levels, but make sure that you have cleared all of the runes that you have access to, because they will give you important components as well as XP, and that's going to be a nice resource. And then finally, we have Mia's Kitchen, which is this personal chef thing. You can go ahead and enter it, and she will cook you up some sort of concoction that gives you a buff. You can also hit escape to skip this screen if you want to do that, and then you'll see the XP pop up right here. So I got 8,800, which is quite a good amount of XP. That refreshes on some sort of schedule, like every blah hours. I think it's like every 6 hours, but you get 3 times a day. Here's the times listed, so that's going to come back. So if that's ever capped, make sure you are constantly keeping up on that, because it will be a nice source of money and also XP, but that's going to be the best ways to get experience. If you are not at level cap after doing that, which you may not be, then you want to start looking at chests, and you're going to be very tempted to collect every single shiny thing that you see in the future, right? And that can complicate things. So there are 2 types of chests. The first chest we're going to talk about is the one that is going to give the most experience, but these are one-time chests. So we're going to talk about the supply pod, and that's going to be right down here. As you can see, this purple glow here, type 1 supply pod. If I loot this, it will give me XP, but that XP is proportionate to my level, so it is like a range of XP, and all chests follow this pattern. So if I am max level, and I'm level 18 on day 1, and I have max experience in that bar, it is not a wise idea for me to open all these. Yes, they do give black nucleus, and the gold ones give gold nucleus, but you will lose out on XP, and it is a large chunk. So use it to fill your bar, but don't go much further than that. So you will also get like gold as well as some weapon parts and components. And if you are a min-maxer, you can balance that out and play to your strength. You can determine whether or not you want to do that, because you can get XP in the future from grinding. It just takes longer when you're grinding the repeatable chests. It is much nicer and easier if you have the supply pods able to cash in and collect for you no matter where you go. So let's go ahead and check out this gold supply pod as well, the first one on top of this ship. So there you go, little tip, little secret for you. If you go on up here, you're going to be able to claim that, and it is going to give you a larger chunk of XP, as we'll see on our screen in the bottom of the XP bar here. So it's quite a bit of the ways there. You're going to get a lot of gold as well as a gold nucleus, so that's going to be good for the rolls. And keep in mind that these supply pods unlock as the game progresses. So there's going to be a timer that are listed on some of them when you go out in the world. The ones closest to the shelter will unlock first, but the ones that are farther out on the map, like really far out here, will all be time gated, and they'll have like a ring around it that, and like they'll be smoking, and it'll say opens in 24 hours or 2 days and whatever hours. So if you're thinking you're going to go around the map and collect all of those, it's probably not going to happen. And then we have the repeatable chests. So these are things that are going to respawn every day. So as you can see over there, I do have this purple one. The purple one is one of the higher password chests. These are what they're called, password chests. So there are 2 avenues to open a password chest. You can force it open, and you can also use a cipher. A cipher is obtained from doing the bounties. So if we go back here and we take a look at some of the rewards for the bounties, we can see this little chip. This is going to be a cipher chip. It's going to reward you a blue one. This rewards you a purple one. So you just match up the colors and you'll be able to open whatever that thing is. So let's go ahead and try to get over this purple one here. We're going to use our jetpack and fly up into the air, and then go over here and see what this one is all about. Alright, so here we are on the chest. We'll be able to open it, and you'll see this sort of interface where I can use a perfect cipher or a forced cipher. If I use a perfect decipher, it will give me more experience, a large chunk. So we'll go ahead and do that. If I use a forced cipher, I will still be able to open it, but it will give me less experience. So keep that in mind. But if you ever see one of these, you still want to loot it because it's very good. It's going to give you XP even if you have to force it open, as well as a bunch of other materials. And here is a blue one, for example. So we'll go ahead and force this one open, and that you'll see that you get a lot less resources when you do that. But the thing is, hey, it's free. These respawn constantly all over the world, so feel free to claim them and go gun-ho. And the last type of chest that will be respawning, so this is going to be repeatable chest, is going to be this green box. This green box is called a rusted iron chest, and if you go ahead and loot it, it will give you a small amount of XP, but still very good. It's the same as forcing open a password chest, and it will also give you a little bit of weapon materials as well as matrix, just RNG depending on which one you get. So that's going to be it for XP as far as that goes. So once you're 18 and capped, max XP, then you're going to want to do ability training. What is ability training? Ability training is some daily task that you can do under the challenge category. If you go to the top right with those little dual swords, you will be able to open this training menu, and it will have various activities like run to this point in a certain amount of time, or kill these little things that pop up, or push a ball down a hill, or a memory game where you have to memorize something. It's just a fun little like activity that you do. But when you do these, you're going to get a certain amount of these training points. Training points are very important because you will be able to cash them in the shop for a special purple gift, which will allow you to raise the rapport of your character and unlock secret passive traits, as well as different voice lines and information about their simulacrum. And you will also be able to get this fine gift, which is a blue gift, which is required to unlock some of the SSR relics, because you have to have 2 tool sets, and tool set is one of the blue items that you can select from here. You can also cash them in for raw XP for matrices or weapons. So if you are low on that, you can go ahead and bank them in. These are a daily activity, so they will fade away. If you miss them in a day, you cannot get them back. So make sure you do your training every single day so that you can accrue these training points and you can cash them in for resources that you are going to need. And now we will talk a little bit about weekly stuff. So weekly stuff is going to be whenever you do some sort of activity in the game, like you sign in, or you've cooked some food, or you did so many bounty missions. You're going to accumulate these weekly points, which are going to give you battle pass points and allow you to claim certain items. In addition to battle pass points, you're going to get special chips like this joint supply chip, which will give you boosted drop rate in dungeons for items. You will also get these little unlock ciphers for the gold and purple stuff. So this is all you're going to want to fill up this weekly activity. It doesn't really give like XP per se, but just keep an eye on it, because there are things like, hey, you need to do this, but just double check that. All right, and the last time thing, the last time sensitive item is going to be the black market. The black market is located in Bounties, and it is on the side over here. You can see this waypoint is the black market waypoint. So the Astra is going to be your starting zone. This is where you'll first start. It's a little bit of a ways up here. You will be able to make it there. It's going to be a bit of a trek, but I do have a shortcut to get to this location. I'll go ahead and show you that now. All right, and here is the location of the black market teleport spot. If you can see this little area on the map right next to this small stronghold and near this ring of echoes, you can see the shape of this little like brown half circle. This is going to be the dome where the main story quest wants you to go, so that's going to be the location where you will go to start the teleportation. All right, and this is a shortcut. You just simply hop up here on this plant and it will sort of like glitch out your game. Sometimes you land on the ground there and you'll be able to get into Bounties, but sometimes you fall through the level and you actually end up just swimming. There's no way to get back from here, so the best thing you can do is just exhaust all your stamina and go ahead and die, because you're gonna die from having no stamina while swimming. And then when you respawn, you should respawn in Bounties, which will be very, very close to one of the waypoints for the black market, and then you'll be able to go ahead and get that black market waypoint. All right, and once we load in, we should be respawned in a location that is very close to the black market. So here we're gonna spawn in this little spot, and if I go a little bit to my left, I should see that waypoint. You will be in a weird area, so just go ahead and hop up and head to that station that will allow you to get access to the black market waypoint, and that should go quite a long way for you, because it's gonna give you access to Bounties really early, and it's gonna give you a waypoint that's really far out when you normally would have had to walk and cross the ocean, so it's going to save you a lot of time. So you're simply just going to go over here, grab this waypoint, and after you do that, you're going to run up the little ramp here or a slope, and then you're going to go to the left in the corner. There's going to be an NPC called Hopkins. You're going to speak to Hopkins, and he is going to give you a sort of like special deal that happens every day. This is going to reset when the server resets. You're going to choose one of these 2 boxes. It doesn't matter what you choose because it's random every time, so sometimes you can get 2 purple figurines or dolls to feed to your characters for rapport. Sometimes you can get blue ones. It's just RNG on what you get. This time I was fortunate enough to get the purple one, which is the 2 of the Void Angel, so that's definitely going to help you out along the way. Next, we will dive into the long-term goals, and this is going to be what you're going to do when you finish those time-sensitive items, right? You got all that done for the day, and those don't take that long, honestly. They take like maybe 2 hours. If you're fast, you could probably do it in less, but you can blast through the main storyline. You can blast all the way up to level 18, and then you're going to be like, well, what do I do now? I'm locked, I'm gated. There are a lot of things you can do to make meaningful long-term progress, and this is even on day 1, so we're going to talk about that here. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get all of your waypoints and your Omnium tower activated so that you can reveal the map. So the best thing to do would be to go around and hit any sort of waypoint like this Space Rift Northern Ring Ranges, and then all these things. This little icon is indicating that it is a waypoint. So you see these on the map, you go collect them. It will also give you points towards map progress, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But the main thing it will allow you to do is access a teleport point. So if you're ever near one and it's a little bit out of your way, go ahead and pick it up because it's going to be useful for you along that path. So make sure you do that. The other thing to do is to keep an eye out for the Omnium Tower. When you go to the top of an Omnium Tower, you will be able to speak to a little robot. And if you do not speak to that little robot, he will not unlock the map for you. So as you can see in Bangies, it is currently hidden to me. That's because I have not went to this Omnium Tower. If I go there and I speak to the robot at the top, he will reveal the map for me. And then it will begin to look like Astra, where I can see all of the icons and where everything is. Okay, with that out of the way, next we're going to talk about another long-term goal and stuff you can do to make meaningful progress on day 1, which is going to be achievement points. Achievement points are something that you are going to want to collect for a lot of reasons. First off, every time you do an achievement, you are going to get a small amount of dark crystals. Dark crystals is the main currency used to purchase roles in the gacha and the matrix as well, so that's going to be something you're going to want to attain. But every time you do an achievement, you will also get achievement points. When you collect enough achievement points in a threshold, you will be given 5 golden nucleus as well as 5 matrix roles. So that's going to be 5 on each of those. So you're going to be able to unlock characters and matrix a lot faster. And you can start making this progress pretty early on. In addition to that, you're going to get a mighty mushroom, which will allow you to have a bigger stamina pool. So you're going to be able to climb and swim at a longer duration, as well as use some of your moves more often that consume stamina. So that's going to be very important. A lot of this stuff is things like, hey, kill this boss, this named monster one time, or defeat a certain amount of enemies. And a lot of it can be things like, oh, collect lettuce or collect mushrooms. And these are all things that you can do on day 1 to get these points. There's nothing stopping you from doing these. Some of the other things include like broccoli and wheat and stuff like that. But as you scale through, you can see there's so many of these, but some of them get into the high levels where that resource is not available in your zone. So the best thing for you to do is to just really look around you, and if you see, oh hey, look, I picked up a piece of lettuce in this zone, I know that I can then do the lettuce achievement and go from there. In addition to that, there are also achievements in other categories like map progression. So map progression is something when you open the map, you can click on the icon in the bottom, and here we will see map progression system built out. It includes things like collecting those supply pods that we talked about before, completing the runes that we also talked about before, and also the space rifts, which are the teleports and the Omnium Tower. And the things that we haven't talked about is Scenic Points and world exploration. So we'll go ahead and cover that now. Scenic Points are little view vistas that basically allow you to collect a scenery view, and you'll be able to cash it in for dark crystals as well as achievement points. Here we are at one of those Scenic Points. You just simply find it. It's this little glowy eye, and they're in kind of unique locations. It'll usually give you a good photo of something, and once you've done that, you should be able to go to the terminal and then go to Chronicles, and you will be able to claim yourself a large chunk of dark crystals as well as achievement points, which go towards the map progress. So that's going to be something very nice for you to collect. The next thing that we have are world exploration icons. If you see my mini map in the top left here, you can see these white sort of diamonds on it. A white diamond is indicating something that can be interacted with. So that could be something like this little dandelion here, where if I hit the one that has the black coloration in it, I can collect a free black nucleus and claim it towards my points. And then if I go to my map, and once I reach certain thresholds, I'm going to be able to get good rewards, like here I get a black nucleus. Next level I get 200 dark crystals. And you will be able to progress this pretty far, but keep in mind that some of these supply pods right here are time gated, so you won't be able to fully 100% the zone on day one, but you can get really, really far, and I would argue probably even into some of these upper rewards. There's a lot of good stuff like SR relics, as well as mushrooms and gacha pools, as well as the potent Omnium crystal, which is used to upgrade your suppressor that will allow you to gain access to higher level zones without you dying in them from the natural poison or whatever that's in the area. So that's going to be something very important to go forward to. So those are going to be good collection things for you to keep in mind. And then the final thing that I would say that you can do for meaningful progress on day one is going to be cooking. Now, cooking is something that is very good. There are a lot of good foods, some that power up your abilities, some that just give you a large amount of HP when you use them. But the best thing about cooking is when you go to cook a recipe, you can create recipes. So here I'm going to create something. I'm going to put in 2 mushrooms and 2 lettuce because I know that that is a recipe. And then if I fill up this 15 quantity in the bottom right with ingredients that are part of the same recipe list. So if I just throw in a bunch of lettuce, it will create an actual recipe. But remember, it needs to be at a 15 out of 15 for a 100% success rate. And I'll start cooking that now. So when I cook that product, I am going to get something from this happy air fryer man that looks like he's taunting me all the time, and it will unlock a new recipe. So there I unlocked a new recipe, and I can now see it. I've unlocked mushroom soup, and if I go back to creation in the top right corner, you will see a little fork and knife journal, and if I click on that, I will see all of the different foods that I have not yet unlocked or mastered. And the best part about this is every time you unlock a food item, you can claim dark crystals. So there, boom, I claimed 5 dark crystals for unlocking that food item, and some of them later on give 10 dark crystals, 15 dark crystals, 20 dark crystals, so you can collect a large variety of these different type of things. There are drinks, there are food, main dishes, bread dishes, all of that stuff. And in doing that, you will also get achievement points, which will allow you to access a lot more rewards. So there are several rewards for cooking. You can see down here different things like discover this many recipes. So that's going to help you in the long term as well. So it kind of has double value, to say so, in that sense. So that is going to be a really strong option. And then the final thing that we're going to talk about is the progression on this is sort of like story progress. You'll be able to access this menu from the mission terminal, and you'll go to story, and here you can see that I can claim things. I get Omnium crystal for upgrading my suppressor. I get a free roll, and I get 50 dark crystals as well as money. And the way you do this is by doing that story mode. As you can see, I've completed the first chapter of Astra, and there are also 2 sub-chapters that I could do from doing those side quests I mentioned about before. If I complete those side quests, I can 100% this area, and I can get all of these boxes or rewards on the side. So that is going to be pretty much everything I can think of in terms of day one progress that you should do. I know this is going to be a long and very extensive guide, but it will give you absolutely everything you need to know to stay ahead of everyone else and get all of this stuff that passes by from day to day without you missing on anything out. Alright, that's going to be it for this one. If you found this guide helpful at all, if you learned anything, make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell. It's going to go a long way, as well as alert you of other Tower of Fantasy content that I'm going to have coming out. I'm going to be up to date on all tier lists, all PvE and PvP content, so this is going to be your best place to go for very, very detailed information on Tower of Fantasy. Thanks for watching the video once again, and we will catch you in the next one.